Hello everybody, my name is Eric, or I go by TCG on this YouTube channel. This is gonna be my first video on this channel which I made. It's actually an old YouTube account which has been converted to just One Piece TCG just because I like playing One Piece a lot. So I was like, you know what, why not just make a channel for it? So if you are new and you are watching this video for the first time, please like, comment, and subscribe. It will help me out a lot. Uh, Give me feedback or tell me what you want to see. But I'm mainly just playing the decks that I like to play on the sim. And I thought, why not for my first video, I'll do a Blue Purple Luffy OP11.5 guide, because I've been playing this lead a lot and I do know some things which should and should not be done. I did buy a guide from a YouTuber called iKailakai. I'll link his guide in the description and his channel because it does help. It did help me out a lot, and it actually just inspired me to also make this guide. So if you want a really in-depth guide on this Blue Purple Luffy, I recommend checking him out. Otherwise, this is just a overview of what you should and shouldn't be doing for the leader. Let's get started. Alright, so who is Blue Purple Luffy? He is a 3 life, 6,000 power leader. And the reason why he's strong is just not because he's a 6k leader, but it's because of his effect, which is this effect can be activated at the start of your turn if you have 8 Dawn or more cards on your field. Look at the top 5 from the deck, reveal up to 1 Straw Hat type card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest to the top or bottom of the deck in any order. So what this means is once you get to 8 Dawn before the start of your turn, you can actually just draw 2 cards. So that's why this leader is powerful. You get to draw 2 cards and you out-resource your opponent. But not only that, you can stack the life so you can draw into cards which can't be selected, or play off the 9-cost Sanji, which we will talk about in a minute. Ramp cards, alright, so these are like the key cards which Blue Purple Luffy has. I'm only putting the cards you commonly see in the deck. So we got Bond Clay, Zorojiro, It's to Die For, Gear 2, Thunder Bagua, and God Threat. So these are all your ramp cards, and you really want to see your ramp cards at the early game. I have tested out the deck before, and if you don't get the ramp cards, it really sucks, because the main strength of the deck is its ramping capabilities and reaching to the 8 Dawn really quick. So I went the defensive route, trying Doflamingo, the 3-cost blocker initially, and swapped it out with Zorojiro, but I didn't like it too much. But we'll get into that in a minute. And these are your typical big bodies that you usually see Blue Purple Luffy play. I can't think of anything else that they would play other than these cards. But yep, you got the OP11 cards, the Katakuri and the Luffy. You got OP09 Luffy. You got Lin, Mihawk, and Sanji, which Sanji is the main card really. And then you have your defensive cards. Typical Gum Giant, Gear 2, Thunder Bagua, God Threat, Nami, Katakuri. There's like 3 defensive cards, I would say. So these 3 right here, Gear 2, Thunder Bagua, and God Threat, which are really good. It helps you survive the early game and helps you ramp at the same time. So a key note to remember is that for Gear 2, it is not just a ramping card. It's basically a defensive card with ramping capabilities. And I learned that from iKailakai, which helps change the way you view things, because normally people use Gear 2 just to solely ramp, but you should avoid using Gear 2 as much as possible if you can. So we've got the typical 2k counters that you see: Usohachi, Sanji, Nami, Funosuke, and 2020 Chopper, and whatever 2Ks you can find. But usually people pick these ones because they are targetable by the leader effect. I'll be honest with you, this 1-cost Nami, I know like the effect can be good, but I never use it. I'm guessing it's just target for 2k, and that's why I see a lot of people run it. and it can be played off Sanji, but you wouldn't want to play it this off. I normally just run Usohachi and Sanji. Frenosuke is a good substitute as well if you don't like running Sanji, but then again, I've never used the rush effect. It's just there when you need it, but I've never used it, and I've been up against opponents who has used it against me, and it is just bad. I would say it's just weak. And then we have the tech cards. Now, I put these as tech cards because they're not the core of the deck. So like Pudding, I would say is a tech card in Gum Gum Red Rock, because you see people's lists, they don't run it, but they have it. You know, it's like it can be removed. Yes, you get the tech cards based on your bad matchups. So I would run like one Pudding and Red Rock, and not really one Red Rock, two Red Rocks, and maybe one Raging Tiger. I used to run three, but I bumped it down to one. Essentially, these are your tech cards. They're not the core of the deck, but it does help depending on what you're trying to do with it. So we'll talk about the curve. So this is where a lot of people struggle with Blue Purple Luffy, as I see, because what people tend to do is they would get their ramp and they'll just keep ramping, which is not what you're supposed to do. Like, yes, you're supposed to ramp to 8 Dawn, but if you're gonna, let's say, ramp past that, it's not worth it. You're just wasting resources from your hand. So we'll just go through this scenario. We have 1 Dawn, you play nothing because you can't play anything. 3 Dawn, you would ideally play Zorojuro or Itsudai 4. Gear 2 is your last resort. That's what I have to say. So if you're against your opponent with very little removal, you want to play Zorojuro. But if you know your opponent can kill the Zorojuro or bounce it back on the turn that you play, it's better to play Itsudai 4. Once you pass your 3 Dawn turn, you'll reach your 5-6 Dawn. You'll reach 5 Dawn with Zorojuro, and then 6 Dawn with Itsudai 4. And on that turn, you want to ramp maybe one more time. So you got God Threat, Thunder Bagua, Nami, and Bon Clay. Thunder Bagua, if you're gonna play this card, you really need to take the first hit and just pray that your opponent hits you. And it's a good card, but it makes you have to take the life. I value my life in Blue Purple Luffy a lot more, just because I know that towards the end I can actually get more counters in hand. I would look for God Threat or Bon Clay, but mainly God Threat for that mid curve, just because I can get rid of a body, and there'll be a lot of decks where you wish you had God Threat to get rid of. So like if you're against Lucci, they establish a Kuzan, God Threat helps get rid of it, or you're against a Bonnie, they play a Cavendish or a Tashigi, or maybe even a Smoker, you can get rid of that. So there's a lot of characters in the 5 Dawn, like the 5 cost area, which is really really impactful in the game, and you can just get rid of them with that ability, and it helps you ramp 1. And on your 8 Dawn curve, when you can get to it, you play Katakuri. This is the ideal play. When you're on 7 Dawn, you just default to Nami, if you can, because what you want to do on 7 Dawn is you play Nami, and you can look at the top 3, and if you have like big bodies in your hand, you can put them to the top of the life, and then play it off Sanji. Or if you want to just like get rid of bricks, you can bottom deck of it, or if you want to gamble thinking maybe there might be a Sanji, you can put it at the top. It does help you play if you got that 9 cost Sanji in hand. So 7 Dawn, you play this, you have Sanji in hand, you stack the top 2 of your life, and then on your 9 Dawn turn, you can just play down Sanji and you know what's on top already. Yeah, this is like the typical odd curve. A lot of people like to go odd curve, so they take first. I personally don't mind if I go first or second, because you really just need to ramp once or twice and that's it. But there are many ways to go about in the odd curve, so you basically make sure you want to see cards for those matchups. Anyways, we'll get to the next one. So this is the even curve. I like it a bit more because it's simpler. So 2 Dawn, can't play anything. 4 Dawn, you play Bond Clay. 100% play Bond Clay. Or it's to die for. So what happens is, if you're going even, and then your opponent will be on 3 Dawn, you take the life if you have Thunder Bagua, and then you use that to ramp. So that is pretty good. Yeah, like you can use It's to die for from your 4 Dawn, and you get up to 5, and then you can use Thunder Bagua to ramp 1 more. And you just need to ramp twice in the even curve to get to your 8 Dawn. And your 6-7 Dawn, God Thread, Nami. 8-9 Dawn, Katakuri, Sanji, and 10 Dawn, your Sanji as well. So I'm not gonna go too in depth to it like the odd curve, because I'm pretty sure you guys know what to expect. But these are the cards you want to see. So this is what I consider the core cards of the deck, and you cannot cut them out. The quantity depends on how many you want, but Gum Giant, Gear 2, Nami, Usohachi, Sanji, and the 9-cost Sanji, Katakuri, Lin, and Bonflay. Like, you cannot cut these out. You notice that there is no Zorojuro. That is completely up to you. If you want to play Zorojuro or Doflamingo 3-cost blocker, it's completely up to you. But these are the core decks, so you just want to max them all out. I would say Gum Giant, it's fine running at 3. Because if you run at 4, it gets too bricky, but it is a really good card. I just so happen to find it playable at 3. Same with Katakuri, you can play at 3, or if you don't like the defensive route, you can get rid of it and play 9-cost Luffy or 8-cost Secret Luffy. It's completely up to your playstyle, but typically this is what you would see in the core deck of Blue Purple Luffy. So these are like tips and mistakes that people make. So in your odd curve, you just need to ramp once or 3 times. Triple ramp is like God roll, no one can stop you. Like, it's a high roll. But in your odd curve, you just need to ramp at least once, and then you can get to your 8 Dawn turn. So let's see if I had this right. So let's say you play Zorojuro on 3 Dawn, you'll be at 5, and then you ramp once, then you get to 6. Your next Dawn, you just get to 8. So even if you ramp twice, you wouldn't be able to use the leader ability. So for example, if I do 3 Dawn, It's to die for, and I become at 4, next I'll be at 6, and then I use God Thread, I'll be at 7. So you just reach at 7 Dawn, and you can, like, it's no point. You might as well go to 6 and use, and then be an 8 Dawn and establish Katakuri. The only time you go to 7 Dawn is if you have 9-cost Sanji in hand, and that's when you just want to blind play it. Yeah, that's how you. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. You just want to blind it with Sanji, because you just want to establish that first big body. Doesn't matter if you're gonna whiff or not, but it's best to play 9-cost Sanji on your 9 Dawn turn. And for even, you just need to ramp twice. And for even, it's pretty easy, which is why I prefer going it. I'm pretty sure you just need to ramp twice. So on your 4 Dawn, you play Bond Clay, and then you'll be at 5, then next you'll be at 7, and then you have to just play 1 more ramp, and you'll be at 8 next turn, and then you can use lead ability. So that's why you just need to play, you just need to ramp twice, which is so much easier and more consistent, I would say, compared to going first and you need to ramp like either once or 3 times. Going even makes you more consistent in getting to your 8 Dawn turn and using that leader ability at the start of turn. This is a mistake where people use Big Mom and Giant. It sounds simple, but like with the amount of like counters you have in your hand, like you don't want to play this. You don't want to go Big Mom and then you Dawn -1 to 9 Dawn and then use Giant on that turn, because you'll go down to 7 and you can't use your lead ability, which is what you really want. You want to use your lead ability, get more resource and stack life. That's all you want. So to get rid of this issue, you use Gear 2. So that's why I say you don't want to use Gear 2 as a ramp card. You want to keep in hand so that you can actually use it. to protect yourself. Another mistake people do, not stacking life properly. Self-explanatory, and not using the lead ability correctly. We'll go in depth on this in a couple of seconds. This video is getting a bit too long, but like, if you make it to this point, congratulations. So, tips and mistakes. So not stacking life properly. So this is an example of like a 10 Don turn, right? It's just a bunch of random cards. You see this. What do you do in this situation? Because a lot of people will be like, okay, I see Usohachi and I see Sanji. Oh, I need a 2k. I'll grab the Usohachi and then I'll draw into my Sanji and play Lin. Or I want to grab Uso and then like, I don't know, draw Big Mom. So depending on situation, like you definitely can manipulate this, and this is why this deck is really strong, because it has a high skill cap ceiling, and depending on situation, you know, like you have to stack it according to what you think is the best play. So this is how I would sequence it. So let's say I want to heal up, I would grab the Sanji, and then I would draw this God Threat. So let's say they have like, the opponent has something that you want to bottom deck, right? You want to get rid of. So what you would do is you grab Sanji, you draw God Threat, and then you play Sanji. And so you play Lin off Sanji's. You trash God Threat, and then you put the Raging Tiger to your life. So when your opponent hits your life, you can just bottom deck their 5 costs. Another play you could do, which not many people actually do. I don't see people do this a lot. But what you can do is you can swap the Raging Tiger and God Threat. So remember how I said that when you had Lin, you'll be at 9 Dawn, and then if you use Gum Giant, you'll be at 7. Well, you can stack God Threat on the top of your life instead, so that you get 1 extra Dawn to make it to 10 Dawn, and then you can use Gum Giant. So if we look at this, yeah, if you use Big Mom and you don't have, like, if you go use Big Mom and you have a Giant, don't do it. Just use Gear 2. It's much better. But if you have Gear 2 and you have Gum Giant in hand, and we have this in life, right? What we can do is do a double defensive play. So we can use Lin to Gear 2, and we'll have 0 Dawn. Your opponent will be like, oh, we're gonna swing big or go for lethal. So when they attack your life, you can use that card that you stack to add 1 Dawn from your deck. And this will make you to 10 Dawn, and you have 1 active Dawn to use Gum Giant. So that is like really powerful, because not only you got out of a like an 8k swing with Gear 2, but you also took the life. So that's 2 hits that you took, and you can use Gum Giant to take that 3rd hit. So that's why it's really strong, and not many players do that. So I encourage you to play more games and try this route. It's a big brain moment. Now, not using lead ability correctly, and for some reason I thought this was kind of common knowledge, but it's not. But so this is what the phases of One Piece is. Got a refresh, draw, dawn, main, and end phase. So your start of turn does not occur at the refresh phase. It literally means that before any of these phases occur, that's your start of turn. So if you're on 7 Dawn, you don't go up to 9 and then you use your lead ability. No, it occurs before any of the phases happen. So at the end of your opponent's turn, that's when the start of your turn happens, before the refresh phase. And that's where your lead ability takes place. So keep that in mind. So not using a lead ability correctly. So you have to conceal your hand. I did this mistake when I started, where I look at top 5 and I'm like, oh, I need a 2k counter. So I grab Usohachi, and then I draw into Sanji. I realized that was a bad play, because now your opponent has knowledge that you have a 2k in hand. So if you have this, for example, as your top 5, this is what you would ideally do. You would use your leader ability to grab Sanji, and then you can draw into Gum Giant or 2k, that depends what your hand is. If you already have a Gum Giant, you can draw 2k. But what I would do is, I would get my leader ability to get Sanji, draw into Giant, and then I'll do 9-cost Sanji into Katakuri. And if I ever need to defend myself, I can Gum Giant, get rid of a brick from my hand, and draw 2-2Ks. So I hope you can see that vision. So matchups. So these are just the common matchups, I would say. Now, I'm not going to go in depth into them because this is based off my knowledge from just playing other decks. There are much better players who can explain this better, but I'll just give you a overview on what you should and you shouldn't do, and correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe this is what you should do in every single matchup. So the first one is UP Luffy. Take first and ramp, that's it. If you take first, you're almost guaranteed to win the game, but you have to see your ramp cards. If you take first and you don't see your ramp cards, you're toast. GG. So you want to take first, ramp to 8 Dawn. As soon as you got to 8 Dawn, play 8 cost Katakuri. If you manage to get to 9 Dawn on your ramp from 7 to 9, just play 9 cost Sanji. You want to establish that one big body. And I forgot to add a point here, but for Blue Purple Luffy, the mistake that people make is they play multiple 9-cost bodies. Realistically, you just need like 2. Because against Blue Purple Luffy, you just want to hit life and not their board. Because it's a 6k leader. You go swing 9 into a 6k, they have to Gum Giant or they have to give you 2-2ks. So just remember, when you play against a Blue Purple Luffy, just play out bodies. So you're ideally 9-cost Sanji to another body, because that's your main objective. 9-cost Sanji into another body and just swing at life. Hi, this is me from the future. I forgot to mention one thing. So pudding is actually a tech for this Blue Purple Luffy deck. So what you want to do is, before they get to their 9 Dawn turn, you can actually just pudding them. So it'll mess up their hand. And there's a trick with pudding. So when you're against your opponent, if your opponent decides to keep their first hand, then you can pudding them when they are about to get to 8 Dawn turn. But if they decide to mulligan, you can play the pudding whenever you think is best, or when they have like heaps of cards in hand. But yeah, just thought I'd mention that. For Black Purple Luffy, it's a bit of a contender right now, just because of the new starter deck that came out that gives this leader plus 2k power for until the end of your opponent's next turn. So that is very, very tricky, but from my knowledge, it's a very fragile leader, so you want to keep pressuring life and not go for board. That's what I would say. Like, if you can get rid of the Beer Luffy, do so, or the Secret Luffy that attacks twice, try to get rid of them. But the Secret Luffy is the main card that I would say is very lethal, because he can swing twice into you, and being a 3 life leader, that's harsh. So I would get rid of the Secret Luffy over the Beer Luffy, and this is where the tech comes in. So you can use 9-cost Mihawk to get rid of him. Otherwise, I find 8-cost Katakuri, if you just keep stacking multiple of them, it really, really helps take that pressure off you. The reason why we use 9-cost Mihawk is because of this character's lead ability, where when you attach 1 Dawn to the character, it's plus 1 cost, making that 6-cost character to 7. So Mihawk gets rid of it. You can run Sables if you want, but I'd rather bottom deck it. And it can be played off your 9-cost Sanji lead ability. Green Purple Luffy, starve, just starve him. I don't care what you do, just starve him, alright? Like, I had troubles against this leader because I was hitting his life and I was giving him resources. Just starve him. Even if he finds his key pieces, in the early game, just starve him. Go for his board and play the long game because you'll out-resource him. He will protect his board, so just swing into it. So you want to see your 9-cost Big Mom and try bottom deck Sanji Pudding or Zoro. And you want to play 8-cost Katakuri as well as a blocker, because they will have multiple swings. Or if you have the opportunity, play 9-cost Sanjis, because it's a 10k body, and having a 10k body swing into their board puts pressure on them because they have to give you counters, and they really want to save their Sanji Puddings or Luffy Taro. Mihawk works as well. It's a bit slower play, but Mihawk works. 9-cost Mihawk. So, up to you. But the main thing is to starve him. Bello Betty, you want to starve as well. That's the typical thing. You want to starve him and try to survive. Gear 2 blockers, 9-cost Big Mom, 8-cost Katakuri. I think this is the correct route. You want to starve them, but I find success in just being aggressive, out-aggressing Bello Betty. I don't know why, but it works. I'll play 3-cost Zoro or 5-cost Nami, and I'll just swing at their life, because they will take the first hit, right? If you swing into them, they'll take the first hit. You just want to swing, like, I would swing at their life, because they will have to give you counters or trash the card from hand to play the trigger. The reason why people starve is because they don't want this trigger from Bello Betty's life. That's it. So, to help, if you're struggling against this matchup, because it is very unfavored for us, we will just play defensive cards like Thunder Bagua. Helps this a lot, and helps you ramp as well. So, if you're having troubles with Bello Betty, include some Thunder Bagua in your deck list. Blackbeard, starve. Just starve him. Alright, you'll out-resource him. Starve and play play your big bodies, even when you're not on place, or multiple small bodies. But starve, literally starve, trust me. You draw 2 every single turn, they discard 2 every single turn. Just starve him. Don't attack their life. Starve him. Against Bonnie, I don't like Bonnie because of Hody or any other green decks, so you gotta watch out. And remember how I said, like, so this is a way to get around Hodys. So they'll rest your blocker or your Dawn, which really stuffs you up. So if we go back here, the way I counter it is I use this method. I go Lin -1 Dawn. I'll leave 1 Dawn open, and they'll Hody it. But once they attack my life, I can gain an active Dawn. But you gotta make sure you Dawn minus. So if you have a Katakuri, 8-cost Katakuri, make sure it doesn't give rested Dawn. And watch out for their 9-cost Shanks. So you want to find your Katakuri and Big Moms, because they keep restanding, and it will make the value of 9-cost Shanks very low. I would say watch out for 9-cost Zoro as well, because that is a very problematic card. But if you can find your red rocks, that'd be great if they haven't had Tashigi establishing board. But I would say red rocks, Gravity Blade, Katakuri, and Big Mom, 100%. And yeah, use the stacking to your advantage, like we said about that stacking life. We've come to the end, but there is one leader I want to talk about, which I don't know how to counter. Rob Lucci. You can go aggressive, which I've been trying, and it's really hard because it's such a close game. For Rob Lucci, I would say go aggro. Hit their life, get rid of Cruzan with Red Rock and everything. Just keep doing it, alright? Just keep being aggressive. Because I tried the starving route, and I lost in one of the events that I was in, because the game went overtime, and I lost because he had more life than me. But if I had 1 extra turn, I would have killed him. So, to avoid that issue, if you're ever going to tournaments, do not starve Rob Lucci. Just keep attacking their life and get rid of Kuzans and Jack. Jack is a huge problem, but mainly the Kuzans, 4 cost and 10 cost. You want to see your red rocks. And that's pretty much it. I hope this video isn't too long and you actually stayed to watch this whole thing. If you did, I really appreciate it, and I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, because I think this is the only guide that I'm gonna ever be doing. I only do this if I'm really like, if I have huge knowledge on the leader, and I thought this could help new beginners who are trying to learn Blue Purple Luffy. I will upload some gameplay videos as well. It doesn't have to be Blue Purple specifically, but I will do one for it. I'm mainly like a Shanks player, and I play multiple decks, so I just play whatever I feel like playing, like Yellow Sabo, Boa. I can play Bonnie, but I don't get into it, Blackbeard and all that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.